Ladies and gentlemen, I say welcome to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I hope you have your cake. I hope you have your cake right there because we are celebrating the 49th posthumous birthday of Dr. Ubong King today. It's not a day to, be sorrowful or be gloomy. I remember when I was putting up a post today, about today, I wrote that, my memory took me back to what happened in December and then how we ran through some sessions in January where people had to begin to say some things about Dr. Ubong King. And for me, who was the host at the time on the Zoom call, I was like at the forefront of receiving all of the emotions. And today I'm like, it's different today because it's not what I felt back then I'm feeling today. Today I'm having that feeling of excitement. I'm having that feeling of being accomplished, attached to a man who did not just live for himself, who lived for us, who lived for everyone, who carried everyone along, and who planted people. Most especially and most importantly, one whose legacy is going to stay here with us forever. So today we are celebrating a man who lived and is still living because again in my post today I said that we may not be, he may not be here with us physically. The only thing we miss today is that he's not here right here with us. Like we cannot touch him, we cannot see him. But again, when I began to read some comments that was dropped, under the post I made earlier today, somebody said his words are like injections that give immediate results. Anyone who has been under any of his teachings will attest to this, that every of Dr. King's words are piercing. They're like, yes, injections that will just, catalyze it to the next level. Another one said that one man that speaks teaching others about business, not giving excuse on how to harness your abilities to make impact and succeed. And you can see him also speak about God. I can continue to read the comments on and on and on. And that's why I'm saying that today is a day of happiness. Today is a day of excitement. Today is a day that we are really grateful and we are celebrating our living legend. So I say welcome to you once again. My name is Mary Gudimani. It's an honor to be hosting one of Africa's best, the very first business consultant that you should have contacted, the very first strategist coach that you should have contacted, and the last that you would ever have to contact, because of course when you come in contact with him, he's giving you strategies, giving you tips on how you can multiply your business. And today we're having a conversation around nation building and the importance of mentorship in celebration of course, our own leader, our own mentor, our own legend, Dr. Ubong King. You'd agree with me that Dr. King is one who was passionate about nation building, one who is a patriotic citizen. I mean, every time when he gets to talk about Nigeria, I'm always like, really, when are we going to get to this point that this man is always talking about? So today we're going to be having that conversation with the ruthless executor, Mr. Steve Harris. I hope he's right here in the building. Please, if he's here, help me bring him on board because I can see the comments already. Hey, boss is here. Drums roll. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you
Good
today?
afternoon. Hi, how are you?
I'm very well,
I'm
thank you. How are you
fantastic. Thank
today?
you for having me.
Great. Thank you
I'm
for
good.
all you
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Thank you for all you do. So today we are having a conversation, like I said earlier, on around nation building and the importance of mentorship. So let me first of all, start by saying that Dr. Ubong King, was one who was very, very, very patriotic. Anywhere he goes, you hear him always say that, I'm a Nigerian and he believes so much in Nigeria. But you and I know that there is no doubt that many Nigerians have lost confidence and hope in the possibility of us, building a great nation that we all can be proud of, a nation at its precipice. Dr. King was one that believes in the Nigerian youth, and every time consciously he's created platforms that seek to harness the potentials of the youth. You, as a leader, Sir Steve, one who has also told this line for a long time. Do you think that the Nigerian youths should still keep hope alive in Nigeria? Do you think that this is a battle that is lost or won already? Do you think that this is a battle that, or do you think this is something we should just take our minds off with, going by everything that's been happening, especially currently, recently? What would you say to the Nigerian youth? Should we keep hopes alive?
Well, first off, thank you very much for having me, and I want to wish a very, very happy birthday to my brother, the troublemaker. If you will allow me to quickly say happy birthday to you, happy
Yeah.
birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Ubong. We really love you. Um, we really, really love, miss, and cherish the memory and the legacy of Dr. Ubong King.
Mm,
He was and still remains the troublemaker. That is a title that nobody, would be able to wear. When
right.
professional athletes retire, especially if they're really, really good, they retire their jersey number. So
Mm,
that troublemaker jersey has officially been retired.
yeah.
No one can literally walk into those shoes or wear that jersey. So we salute the amazing and incredible Dr. Ubon King. Thank you, Ekaret. I see you. So getting to your question concerning the Nigerian youth, I don't believe that it's over. You know what I mean? I don't believe it's over. I always say about Nigeria that when we are tired of being tired, and when we become angry for not being angry enough, then we will have a new Nigeria. And I'll say that again. When we are tired of being tired and we are angry for not being angry enough, then we will have a new Nigeria. Um, our youth are over 70% of the population, which means that for every 100 people you gather randomly, 70 of them will be young people. We've got incredible power, but I think that the reason Nigeria is a sleeping giant of
Mm,
Africa is because um, the youth have been conditioned to sleep. You know what I mean? And we're not
mm,
sleeping naturally. It's not because we want to sleep. They have given us sleeping gas.
mm,
The environment has put things in our environment that makes us seemingly docile. So for example, we saw the power of the Nigerian youth when the whole NSARS thingamajiggy happened, and
right.
by ourselves we decided we wanted to have good governance. We came out as one people with one voice, with one purpose. We had one goal. We didn't care if the person demonstrating beside us was Christian or Muslim or Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. We didn't care if the person was the Yoruba nation or the person was Biafra or the person was whatever. We didn't care. All we cared about was we all wanted the same thing. We wanted a new Nigeria. We wanted to end SARS. So my point is, I believe that the moment the Nigerian youth agree as one people, that it is our responsibility, to birth this Nigeria that we all want, we will come together. I mean, just look at how we come together. So, for example, Big Brother Nigeria is on at the moment, and you see young people who have already staked their claim on their candidates. And they say, oh, this person is, I don't know who's on the show, but they say, this person is my candidate, or this person is who I'm going to vote for. And you would hear that young people are rallying money, rallying votes. Money, people who don't even have enough money for themselves are gathering money,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? To vote
mm,
for someone to stay in an imaginary house where they eat free food, where they literally do nothing for 90 days and they become celebrities. We so
mm,
we we have a culture, unfortunately, where our young people are making celebrities out of non-entities. And I mean no
mm,
disrespect. I mean no disrespect. What I'm saying is the moment we find something that gets our attention and we own it, there is literally nothing that stops our power. So personally, I think that the Nigerian youth is strong, is entrepreneurial, is independent. But I think the Nigerian youth is inhaling sleeping gas. That's why we're
mm.
taking the route a lot slower than we should.
Great. Thank you so much, Sir Steve. I'm just going to have a follow-up question before I move on to another conversation. So you have established the fact that obviously we are sleeping not because we really wish to sleep, but yeah, maybe something is in the atmosphere, or we have just inhaled it. But how then do we stay awake? Is there anything we can do to be awake? And when I say awake, I mean awake in every sphere, awake in every ramification. What can we do? Because obviously, some of Nigerian youth are already getting to that part where maybe from sleep they're already dead. You know how you sleep and then you don't wake up again.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them, their hopes is like no, is nowhere, it's gone. How then do we stay awake? How can we keep awake, active, conscious? How do we go about that, sir?
Well, I mean, I believe that that's why the great Dr. Ubong King showed up. He came to cause trouble. You know what I mean? He came to disrupt our complacency. He used to say that the only way to get out of trouble is to get into trouble.
Get into
You
trouble.
know,
Okay.
and I believe that that was so powerful and profound because he didn't come with the usual cliches or catchphrases like yes you can do it. Mm-mm.
Right.
Sometimes he would give you the ugly truth and say the reason you are not where you want to be is because you are not thinking. You're spending more
Mm,
time on the things that don't matter as opposed to be thinking about the things that do matter. And I think that's why we're honoring Ubon King today and every day because of the message that he brought, where we as young people have to demand more. And sometimes you don't know you need more until you are exposed to something else.
mhm.
Let me give you an example. Somebody once said to me, "Well, Steve, you're amazing. You're this, you're that." And I said, I said, well, thank you for the compliments, but you are calling you what you're currently seeing is my smoke. But the problem is you are thinking that my smoke is fire. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. You see my
Wait
smoke,
till you.
you know what I'm saying? This thing, because you're
Hmm,
seeing my smoke, you're calling it fire. Me, I see it and I see this is smoke. You know what I mean?
hmm,
But until you surround yourself with people whose results intimidate and inspire you, right? You
hmm.
would always remain the same. Look, our nation is filled with amazing people. I mean, we've got Grammy Award winners like, Burner Boy. We've got guys like Wizkid. We've got legends like Two Face. We've got athletes like, Okocha and, Nigerians all over the world. We literally saw the Nigerian basketball team, right?
Right.
Who,
Mm,
despite Nigeria's best efforts to frustrate the Nigerian basketball team,
mm-hmm.
right? They still went to, I believe it was the Olympics or where
Went
it
ahead.
was, and they did us proud. Even
Amazing.
though the government did not give them money for the trip,
Support.
even though they had to
Mm-hmm.
go fund their stuff, even though their
Yeah.
jerseys were locked at the port, even though some of them did not get their phones, so we don't want to go into too much story, but they
Yeah.
had the resilience to say that if Nigeria will not frustrate me, Nigeria
Hmm.
will not frustrate me. You know what I mean? So my point is, that's why when we go into other areas of the world, when we go to developed countries, Nigerians take over. Why? Because if you can survive in Nigeria, you can survive
You
anywhere.
can really
You get
survive
what I'm
anywhere,
saying?
right?
You can survive anywhere. So I believe we've got the most resilient, incredible, brilliant minds as young people. If it's athleticism, Nigerians are the best. If it's in if it's in sport, we're the best. If it's in literature, we've got Chimamanda, we've got, Wale Soyinka, they're the best. If it's music and entertainment, Nigerian music is literally the music of the world right now. You know what I'm saying? So my point really is this, that the only way we can get out of this lethargy is to do what Ubon King said, which is the only way to get out of the trouble you don't want is to now get
And
yourself into
get
trouble,
into
which simply
trouble.
means challenging yourself to no longer accept the status quo and demand more from yourself. But you must first develop yourself. So that's what I think.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sir Steve. Like you are literally hitting the nail on the head as usual. Thank you. Thank you so very much. And of course, to everyone watching us, you know that you can drop your questions for Mr. Steve before he leaves here. He's a very busy person. So yes, please drop your question. If you have any question you want him to, tackle, please drop a question. And thank you so much for re-echoing and emphasizing again that sometimes, in fact, most times you don't know you need more until you get exposed to something else. And this time around, something more powerful, something that just it's outside the normal things you have been exposed to. Thank you. So now let me shift the conversation to mentorship, because again, you've been mentioning, oh, this is what the troublemaker has always said, this is what Dr. King has always said. The only way to get out of trouble or is to stay in trouble, just be in that trouble and let the let the trouble envelope you. Then you begin to think of how to navigate. So let's talk about mentorship. Dr. King fondly says that mentorship is wisdom without pay. What then do you think is the role of mentorship? What do you think the role of mentorship is at this critical time in history of our nation in fostering and enshrining the right leadership? Do you think that as young people we should begin to identify persons, somebody like you, you've been a mentor in different regards. Do you think we should begin to tilt our line or begin to follow you per se? You know what I'm saying? So what do you think is the role of mentorship in helping us shape this our thinking, this our reasoning as youths in Nigeria?
It's a great question. I think mentoring is critically important. I'm a product of mentorship. You know what I mean? At 26, I stumbled upon a man called Fela Durotue, who became my mentor and has been my mentor for the last 16 years. So mentorship is incredibly important, but I do think that where a lot of young people get it wrong is their attitude concerning mentorship, right? Mentorship is not asking people for a handout. Mentorship is not asking for money. So, for example, Bala has been my mentor for 16 years. We're incredibly close. He's a father, he's a brother, he's a friend. And in 16 years, I've never asked him for money. Not once. Even when I was broke, when I first met him, I never asked him for money. And I'm 42 now. I've never asked him for money. I think a lot of young people, unfortunately, maybe because of the environment, they feel like the mentor's job is to do giveaway. Say, I do giveaway now. The giveaway that your the only giveaways that your mentors will give you is the giveaway of wisdom, the giveaway of knowledge, the giveaway of understanding, the giveaway, if you have proven it, of exposure, the giveaway of access. Those are the only giveaways that they're going to give you. So if you expect your mentor is going to give you money, you are totally getting it wrong. Now, how do you approach a mentor? Let me make it practical. Because I meet a lot of people who say, oh, Steve, I want you to mentor me, da, 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 da. And I ask you, in what direction? They say, anywhere, sir, anything, sir. I'm like, that's not how you do it, right? Let me make it practical. So when I met the last 16 years ago, right, I had gone, I think he had come to speak at my church, and I was totally blown away by him. And I became like a junkie looking for a fix. So I started looking for his messages, his books, his CDs, his tapes. Back in the day, guys, we had tapes. You guys have books. You guys stream. I'm a little older. We had tapes back in the day, right? So I was looking for his tapes. I was looking for his book, but I didn't find them. I'd go to bookstores. I'll say, please, do you have Fela Durotue's book? They'd say, who? Say, I'll go to places. Do you have Fela Durotue's tapes or CDs? They didn't know who he was. And then it dawned on me that this man had an incredible message, but he didn't have any merchandise, right? He had a message, but he didn't have any merchandise. And I spotted a gap. And I said to myself, what if I could help Fela Durotue sell maybe 1 million naira worth of CDs? Now, guess what? I was not working for him. I had met him once or twice. He had given me his phone number. Even when he gave me his phone number, I didn't used to call him. You know what I mean? Maybe every Monday I'll send him a text, and the text was always a prayer. This week, sir, may God bless you, may He increase you, may you bless your family. Have a great day. Paris. That's it. I never said, sir, please call me. I never told them, even if I was going through problems, I had dropped out of school. I was already suicidal. So I didn't give him I wasn't interested in him knowing about my family story. That was not his role in my life. Right. So I was sending prayers and all those kinds of things. And even when I didn't have credits, so there were days that every Monday I would send him these text messages. And maybe I missed one text message and I missed another one. Fela would send me a message and say, oh, you didn't send me my prayer. You know what I mean? And then he will now maybe randomly send me airtime. and I would use the airtime again to now send the prayers every other week. So it felt to me that my prayers were valuable to him, even if I didn't have money to give him. So back to the story. I now realized, okay, this guy's got a great message. He has no merchandise, right? And so I came up with a document, and I kid you not, I literally wrote a 12-page document on distribution channels on where I could sell Fela's CDs to help him make ₦1 million. Long story short, I had said to myself, the day I bump into Fela Durotoye anywhere, I'm going to give him this proposal. Luckily for me, he had gone to speak at an event. So I knew where he was going to be. So my goal was, oh, after the meeting, I'll just go and say hi to him and give him the proposal. Long story short, I met him at the event. I told him I had a proposal and I wanted to give him. Because we had interacted and I was sending him those text messages, he knew me. So he was like, okay, you know what? Come to my house. He texted me the address and said, come to my house in VGC. Now, I used to live in Yanopaja with my parents. So long story short, I left Yanopaja, found my way to VGC. I'd never been to VGC before. I just heard that VGC was a place that rich people used to live. This is 16 years ago. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to VGC. And I get to Fela's house and I show him the documents, 12 pages of where I think he could sell his CD. And Fela does not have a CD. He didn't have a book. He didn't have anything. I just did my proposal. And I'll never forget that when he was done reading it, Fela literally knelt down on the floor, started crying, and he said, God, thank you for answering the prayer that I prayed on my birthday. Now, I didn't know that he had prayed to God to say, Lord, I have all these things inside. I don't know how to get it out. Then God now puts the problem in my heart. And they didn't send me a message. I now started thinking about how I could help Fela sell his CDs. Long story short, he gave me an opportunity to come and work with him as a volunteer. So that became my job description, helping Fela's bring out his CDs. And I did that. In less than a couple of months, I did that. We sold over ₦1 million worth of CDs, launched his books, blah, blah, blah. And that's my point, guys. So let me say it like this, and I'll say it very shortly. Your mentor is looking at a direction. He's looking in front of him. Now, you know that your feet follow the direction of your eyes. Your feet go where your eyes go. So if your mentor is looking forward, if you are calling him behind him, if you're calling him, he has to stop where he's going, look behind him, and then come back to you. He's not going to do that. So what you need to do is to ask yourself, where are his eyes looking at? What problem does Steve Harris have that I think I can help him meet? What desire or problem does Steve Harris have that I can help him solve or help him meet? If you do that, me by myself, I'll carry you by myself and say, come. You are necessary to my destiny. I need you. Do you get what I mean? Unfortunately, most mentees come from the perspective of, sir, I need you, without asking themselves, does the mentor say, I need you? If you need me and I don't need you, I don't need you. You know what I mean? If you, the protege, need me and I, as the mentor, don't need you, I don't need you. You're just a groupie. You're just one of the many people that my life has blessed. But my hands will not pull you to where I am. And I won't take you to where I'm walking.
Thank you. Whoa, I feel like this is like a masterclass on its own. On its own. Thank you so much, Sir Steve. And yes, for somebody to sit down and write a proposal of 12 pages. 12 pages. It's not something small. It's not at all. So
they didn't send me a message. Those 12 pages, they didn't send me a message.
Like voluntarily. It says a lot. It says a lot of how even you as a mentee at that time was interested in the success of your mentor. And I feel like that's very instructive to everyone who is listening today. Very, very instructive. Don't just be there or, come around somebody because you feel like, oh, this person can help me. You yourself, what can you help the person to do? How can you be of help to this person? Thank you so much. And of course, one other thing that is instructive is that you need to know the role of your mentor in your life. Know the role of your mentor. Your mentor is not your alpha and omega, right? Know what you are coming to learn and know the direction at which you're going. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm checking the comments and I see a question right there. So I'm just going to quickly bring it up. And thank you so much for the comment, guys. I see it. I see all of the comments. Thank you so much. It shows that we are talking to people and they are getting value. So we have a question from Shegun that it says, my question is, what hope is there for Nigeria as we seem to keep bending backwards to pick our leaders who most oftentimes have not demonstrated capacity in the past, yet we bring them back to office? What's the hope? So I feel like we've, Mr. Steve talked about this at the beginning. I don't know at the point where you joined, but he talked about this a little. But I don't know if he also wants to say something about it. I think this now has to do with selecting the right leaders,
Yeah.
putting the right people fit for the job. What do you think can be done, sir?
Well, when you're choosing leaders, and I'm assuming that this question has to do with, the question of politics, right? You always need to ask yourself who has the greatest capacity to get us to where we're going. You know what I mean? Who has the greatest capacity to get us to where we're going? When you get on the plane, you don't ask the pilot what tribe he has, or what tribe he's from. You just ask about his capacity. I see that, unfortunately, with our political conversations, we tend to pick people from our past who cannot take us into the future. You know what I mean? We tend to elect or select leaders from the past who have no vision for the future. So for example, the quality of our leadership speaks. Today we are in the digital world. We have a digital economy where, for example, fintechs are going global. We just from Nigeria, we've built fintechs like Flutterwave, Haystack, and these have become unicorns and global brands. But we have an analog leadership. I don't even think it's analog. Whatever is before analog is where I get there from.
Okay.
But we have an analog leadership, archaic, thank you, who don't understand and are trying to regulate social media and regulate. They're totally out of touch. Now, this is the mistake that I see that young people make. We get caught up in herd mentality. We get caught up in the narrative of what the media has put out there. So you would see, and I may sound biased, but please bear with me, but you would see that the new generation leaders will come out, maybe the fellas, the Mogalus, the Showers, the Obiozekwesilis and Co's, the Peter Obis, and they would come out for public office. And we young people will say that they should go and start from their local government first.
They even say what is the track record? What have they done? Do they have any history in politics?
Exactly. So you ask, what's their track record? What have they done? They should be in politics. Let them go and start from local government. Then I ask you a question, please. In the comments, can anybody type the name of their local government chairman? You don't know. I bet you most of you don't know. You don't know the name of your local government chairman. You don't know the name of your state assembly, House of Assemblyman. You don't know the name of your senator. And then you're saying, for the most exalted position, we need to go and bring people of ruin to the country to help us move forward. Listen, let me give you this example, right? How do I explain this? The competence for leadership, guys, is not experience. It is expertise. Let me say this again. The competence for leadership should not be experience. It should be expertise. Allow me to explain. So if you're a woman and you're pregnant and you want to go deliver your baby in the hospital, most of the time, based on numbers and just based on numbers, it is more likely that your doctor is a man. Most likely that your doctor is going to be a man. Your gynecologist is a man. But now here's the question. Why, when you're going to deliver, why didn't you ask the doctor, do you have experience being pregnant? How many children have you been pregnant with? How many times have you pushed? What is your experience in pregnancy? Now, at the point of delivery, you don't ask that question. Why? Because it is a foolish question. Because the competence for delivering babies is not experience in being pregnant, it is expertise in delivering babies. I need to say this again. The competence of delivering babies in hospitals is not experience being pregnant. It is expertise in delivering babies. So when we're thinking about the leaders that should lead us, we should ask not what is your experience in politics, but what is your expertise in transforming business? What is your expertise in transforming young people? What is your expertise of communicating the vision of an organization? Because the president is the chief visionary officer, right? The president is the one who's going to say, this is my vision and plan. So we must ask these political candidates, what is your expertise in sharing the vision that will compel people to do the impossible? We must ask our political leaders, what is your expertise in being able to convince people that they can become better? Because the president's job or the governor's job is to convince the people under his leadership that we can become the best, we can become this, we can become that. What is your expertise in organizing teams around you who can do so much with so little? Those are the questions we should be asking. Because when we ask those questions, right, we will find that these politicians don't have the answer. Why? Because without their political office, ask yourself, without their political office, how many children did they send to school? Because even now they're sending children to school. It's not with their money, it's with government money. When they were not in politics, how many roads did they build? When they were not in politics, how many young people did they help? Look at what Ubong King did with his life, organizing vacation with his money, flying international speakers with his money. If Ubong King had run for governor or president, well, those are the kinds of people we need. But when an Ubong King comes to run for president, governor or president, we will ask him, have you been in local government? Have you been in Senate? What experience do you have in House of Assembly? As opposed to saying, what is your expertise in making young people feel like, God, their father, I will never be poor again in my life. Those are the questions we must be asking. And the political class know that as long as it's a question of experience, they will beat us hands down. All these guys in government, they've been there for 50 years, 40 years, right? But if it's a question of expertise, why shouldn't we have, for example, Mary, why shouldn't we have like the young guys, right, who develop Flutterwave, Paystack, those guys? Why can't we have those guys, for example, right, as governors? But those guys, if they ever get into politics, they will be special assistants to the special assistants to the special assistants of special assistants. But these guys have built multi-million-dollar businesses and they are not up to 30 years old. But we'll say no. For them to come and serve Nigeria with their heart and might and strength, they need to be in politics. If it is a question of experience, the politicians will win. If it is a question of expertise, we will win all the time.
Whoa, Coach Steve, the roof is down. I said it before. When I was putting up a post, I said the roofs are going to burn today. I actually thought we were just coming here, to do happy birthday, posthumous celebration, but obviously Coach Steve came with he came with
trouble.
fire.
It's trouble. We came here to make
trouble. This is trouble, and this is really food for thought for a lot of us who are young people, because again, it is now the question of what kind of question are you even asking when you want to select your leader? Yeah. What kind of questions are you asking yourself when you want to select your leaders? Whoa, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The competence for leadership is not in the experience, it is in the expertise. Guys,
can I quickly just say one thing? Just to give you an example. And this is not a biased example. This is just purely, so for example, what experience does Nnamdi Kanu have to be the leader of Biafra movement? None. But guess what? He has the ability to motivate. Is it not motivation? The people he's leading, is it not motivation? They say he's a motivational speaker. He has the ability to motivate his people. He says, sit at home. We're not going anywhere. He has the ability to speak about a compelling vision. And the vision for them is Biafra. Sunday Igboho, or what's his name? Yoruba Nation. Is it not the same thing? Motivation. Is it not vision? An
The
independent
charisma.
Yoruba.
Yeah.
Is it not charisma? Guess what? Those guys they've not been in local government, they've not been in Senate, but this is the expertise that is required to galvanize the people, whether it is the Igbo people, or whether it's the Yoruba people, or whether it's the Wari people. The Olu of Wari was just coronated yesterday or 2 days ago, right? And it was trending all over social media about how charismatic he is, how articulate he is, how
even his speech,
his speech, how inclusive his speech was, how his speech was giving his people goosebumps, how now we have a traditional leader that has sense, that his head is correct, that this person, which local government election did he win? If that guy goes to run for local government, he will lose, because we, young people, will not vote for him. We will regurgitate the speeches that the old people have fed us. Yeah, he needs to go to local government. He needs to go and serve. Let him become special assistant to the special assistant. By the time he now finishes, he can, when he's now 60, 65, he can now run for president. This is the time for the young people. Ubong King's legacy is about trouble. We must be able to trouble those who are troubling us. But we're not troubling them with shouting or riots or violence. We will trouble them with our superior arguments. We will trouble them with our superior reasoning. We will trouble them with our expertise. We will trouble them to say that we will no longer accept bags of rice or 5,000 naira that has lost value. If you cannot do the job, this is the person these are the people we want, and we have enough power to make it happen. So that's what it's about.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Coach Steve. Thank you so very much. And guys, this is the time to cause trouble. And just like Coach Steve has said, we're not just causing trouble by shouting or, by carrying planks and all of that. No, it's not war. It's not war yet. What we should begin to do now is to begin to equip ourselves with the required knowledge. Is to begin to build our capacities as young people. Because again, election is going to come again very soon. It's not just by saying, oh, you know what, these are the people we want. You yourself, do you even have your voter's card? Are you even going to come out to vote? Are you going to come out to show that, you know what, I'm patriotic? And again, some of us feel like, even when I vote, they've already selected who they want to select. See, you have to begin to delete those things from your head and your mind right now. Because the change we want, the old thing we want, the change we have been craving for is not going to come by still holding on to that mindset. We need to begin to now think what is the next thing? How can we do it? And just like Coach Steve said, begin to ask yourself, who has the greatest capacity to get us to where we want to go to? Think, use your brain. Thank you so much, Coach Steve. Whoa, this is okay. So I say somebody says 2023 is here already. Yeah, it's here already. Thank you so much. Whoa, this is already getting interesting. Not just interesting, fire and brimstone shaking together. Thank you, and running over. Thank you so much. So okay, so back to my conversation around mentorship. You've been mentioning this is what Dr. King did, this is what he did. Now, as young people, you were really close to Dr. King. You've called him brother. How would you suggest that the youth of Nigeria model their lives after the principles and values he heralded? So now let's begin to now talk about how we can now walk the talk. We've heard all of these things. They're just a lot. We've heard them. How can we now begin to model our lives, pattern our lives according to these principles and values that he has heralded?
Well, I mean, for example, Ubong King was such an amazing man. Every time he would call me on the phone, he would be like, my cousin, how are you? And he was so humble. Humility, I tell people that humility is not, let me put it like this. There's a difference between humility, and arrogance, right? Humility, which of course is a word that does not exist, but humility is making yourself small so that other people feel big, right? So you did a great job. You're like, na God, na God. We think that that's humility. That's not humility. That's false humility. It's also known as humility. So humility is making yourself small so that others feel big, so you don't offend them. Real humility is recognizing that you are big, but you're not trying to make anyone feel small. Hmm? Humility is recognizing that you're big, but you're not trying to make anyone feel small. So you say, Steve, that was an amazing event. I'll tell you, I know. I won't say, Baba God, no, Neil. You know that. I know it was I know what I put into it. It was really, really great, right? But arrogance, on the other hand, is recognizing that you're big, but then you are going out of your way to make other people feel small, right? So I'll say that again. Humility is making yourself small so that others feel big. Humility is recognizing you're big, but you're not trying to make anyone feel small. Arrogance is recognizing you're big and you're going out of your way to make other people feel small, right? So you've got to recognize that we must be humble by showing our best, putting our best foot forward, and not apologizing for the greatness we carry, right? And Ubong King constantly did that, which is why he did things with excellence. You would see his merchandise, you would see, the quality of his events. Nothing was small, right? He wasn't trying to offend the powers that be. He was just doing it and allowing people to thrive, right? Another thing that we young people can do is collaboration. Collaboration. You know what I mean? Recognizing that it's not about who gets the credit. In a football game, the striker cannot carry the team by himself. The striker the goalkeeper is important. The midfielders, the defenders, everybody's important. But if the striker says, no, 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 I must be the man of the match all the time, nobody will pass the ball to him. Oh, yeah, being man
Right.
of the match. Go and score goal. Let carry the ball from defense all the way to the other goal. Try, let's see. Right? He's going to get tackled. But it's collaboration, recognizing that it's not about me, it's about the team. Right? So we must not be afraid to collaborate. We must collaborate. We must share. And then the third thing that I will say is we must be willing to learn. We must be willing to learn. Ubon King was constantly learning, constantly attending events. Someone at his level, someone with his great level of wisdom was constantly improving himself day in, day out, attending courses, going for seminars, learning, bringing things and sharing it with the world, right? If you can tell me more about what's happening in Big Brother than what's happening with the CBN's decision to regulate fintech, your head is not correct. Can I say this again? No
Go ahead,
disrespect, I
sir.
apologize. If you're a young person watching this and you can tell me more about what's going on in the Big Brother house, as opposed to, for example, what the social media bill, you don't understand the concept of the social media bill. Your head is not what? Your head is not
Correct.
correct. If you can tell me more about what's happening in one random reality show, right? Versus, for example, the slide of the dollar, the naira versus the dollar. Your head is not what? Your head is not correct, right? So it just shows that your priorities are wrong. You know what I mean? You're not doing things that will feed you. You're not. You say, na knowledge I go chop, na book I go chop. Eh, his book that God Shea Ubonking will tell the story about how he used to be a security man. He did
Yeah.
not die as a security man, and his legacy. The reason we celebrate him is not based on the fact that he was a security man. No. It was based on the fact that his knowledge was all encompassing. His wisdom was personal. His impact was felt and relatable. That's why we celebrate him today. You know what I mean? So I'll say it again. If you can tell me more about what's going on in Big Brother house and you don't know squat about what you can't tell me what's going on, for example, America's pullout from Afghanistan and how that affects world affairs, your head is not what? Your head is not correct.
Thank you so much, Coach Steve. I don't know what to say. Somebody said my head is correct in Jesus' name. You don't know what's happening.
Yeah, Jesus will not help you. Jesus will not help you.
It
So
is
my
not a
people,
matter of,
even Jesus said, "My people perish because their head is not what? Their head is not correct."
I'm going to say something. It's from Coach Steve. I learned how you can actually say my head is not correct and you are right. Like in every right, because I followed the money high session you did some
Yeah.
time
Okay.
ago with John Obidi, Jimmy Tewe and all of that. And when you were analyzing how poor people think and how rich people think, you can say your head is not correct. And each time I get to that place, I'm like, oh, this man is saying this and with all boldness. Thank you so much. And yes, really, see, it's your priorities, guys. It's your priorities. Just like people will say, I don't have time for this training. I don't have time for that. It's your priorities. You make out time for things that are important to you, for things that matter to you. So if Big Brother Nigeria is more important to you than knowing the current trends happening in your country, that for you to know the things happening in the society, then really, I joined my coach to say your head is not correct. But trust me, I'm not the one that said that. It's coach that said.
No, I'll say it. So your head is not correct. Let me just add one thing. Let me just add one thing, just to show. See, Mary, it's the same amount of data that you would use to swipe on Instagram and watch funny videos is the same amount of data that you would watch something on YouTube that will expand your mind, expand your capacity. It's the same data, but the only difference is it's where your focus is. So if you're more focused on doing, TikTok challenge, on all that stuff, you know what I'm saying, than for example, going on YouTube and learning. So no, I'm not saying don't have fun. Please have fun. But I'm saying that if you have more fun, then you have more sense. Your head is not what? Your head is not correct.
Correct. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And I won't say it again, but the question is, where is your focus? What are you focusing on? You have the right answer, right? Choose where you belong, right? Right. Yeah. It's either you come to decide where our head is correct, or you go to the other side where your head is not correct. But choose where you are on. And thank you so much, sir, for mentioning those three things: humility, collaboration, and willingness to learn. I'm going to dwell on collaboration because I have a question from that. Again, I personally have heard that collaborate time and time again. And so the question now is, first, how do you know the right people to collaborate with? How do you know the right persons to collaborate with? Now, the next question is, how do you collaborate with people without necessarily making it look like you are trying to steal the shine? Okay, because again, in our space as young people, when you meet people to say, oh, you know what, I want to collaborate, I want us to do these things together. Some people feel like you are coming and you just want to take the spotlight or take the shine. And sometimes people draw back. Some people also have been wounded on their part of collaborating with other people, because, oh, you know what, you've come to me to say, I have this idea. Okay, so let's do it together. And then at the end of the day, you see that you are not even in the circle. You're not even in the picture. So how do we collaborate with sense, with people that their head is correct? Please help us trash that, sir.
Well, if anyone follows me, they would see that I collaborate with a lot of thought leaders in my space.
A lot. Yes, a lot.
I mean, even with my Mastering the Business of Your Talent coaching program, I bring a lot of coaches on it, and I talk about how amazing they are as opposed to how amazing I am. Sometimes, so the first rule about collaboration is you must have a great sense of security. You must have a great sense of security. You can't collaborate if you're insecure. You know what I mean? So David collaborated with Saul in bringing down Goliath. But the moment the women said that Saul has killed his thousands and David has killed tens of thousands, Saul immediately got insecure and tried to kill him. Now, the real test of mentoring or collaboration is when other people are shouting about David, when you are the one who has fought all the battles, how does your heart take it? Do you become jealous and say, this person is getting more shine than me? But it's not two of us. How come they're calling this person's name? See, in a football team, in a football game, one person will score the goal. There are 11 people on the team. The person that scores the goal probably will get the most airtime. But guess what? It's the team that won. Everybody plays their part. If the goalkeeper begins to vex and say, I'm on this team now, nobody's even mentioning my name, sir. It's been 90 minutes in this game. They've mentioned striker, midfield. They didn't even mention the goalkeeper once, right? I beg, you know what? Heck it. I'm going to run in the middle of the field and dribble. And me too, I can dribble now. I'm not a footballer. I can kick ball now. I'm not a footballer. Let me dribble. Let me tackle someone. Let me leave my post. The moment he leaves his goal post, he puts his team at risk. So again, it's about positioning. You need to be able to know where you play well, right? So when it comes to collaboration, you need to recognize if I'm the eyes and my job is a sense of vision, I'm not going to be arguing because people are saying, see your hand is fine, your hand is this, or see your leg is this. How many times do people talk about your eyes? Think about your body. People talk about your hand, your nails are fine. Oh, your finger is great. Oh, your toenails are fantastic. How many times have people talked about your ear? Your ear is so cute. Have they said that? They don't talk about how many times they talk about your nostril. These your nostrils are so fantastic. If the nostril now decides to vex and say, everybody's just talking about the breast, everybody's talking about bum, everybody's talking about legs and hands and hair. Nobody's even saying that this nostril, I'm going to vex, and the nostril leaves the body. What happens? The body dies. So number one is about insecurity. It's about security. You must be secure. Second is collaboration, I believe, is surrounding yourself with people who are strong where you are weak. Right? It's being able to surround yourself with people who are strong where you are weak. So, for example, and again, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to scale your business, you must collaborate, right? With my coaching, for example, like my Mastering the Business of Your Talent coaching, I have hundreds of people who I'm coaching at the same time. It is physically impossible for me to give over 200 people the same attention and solve their business problems. I will die, right? Jethro said to Moses, he saw Moses sitting at the tent of meeting, and every time Moses was, solving people's problem, arguing, or arguments, and he was adjudicating for them. And Jethro said, this thing you're doing is not good. He said, why don't you get people who will be rulers of 50s and hundreds and thousands, and let them do the work so you can focus on just hearing God. And if Moses said, no, now I'm the judge of Israel, everybody should know me, everybody must have that personal touch, he would have died, right? So it's being able to accessorize yourself with people who may be strong where you are weak and don't care who gets the credit. I'll give you an example again, like this, my MBT program, Mastering the Business of Your Talent. I always joke on the program that the way you know that your structure is working is when people no longer remember to mention you. So you know what I'm saying? So when you know your structure is working, so people no longer remember you. So let me give an example. So in the program, I've got 200 people. I've got like 6 coaches. And at the end of the program, people are saying, I want to thank my coach. Coach Rosimi was fantastic. Coach Jules Blood Money was fantastic. Coach Stephanie. They're mentioning all the coaches though. And I'm waiting, and I'm just there. I'm saying to myself, they will not remember that. They will not remember that game. So, my coach was so fantastic. I said, me too. They said, yes, now, Archangel, you too. Now, you know that you two are fantastic, but my coach. And if I am insecure, I'll say, see this small person that I just gave shine now is going to steal my business. No, I must all their shine. Well, everybody must mention Steve Harris. If not, your head is not correct. But structure shows. Structure shows your structure is working when no one remembers you because your system is working. Do you get what I'm saying? Now you can have practical things like an MOU. So, for example, with my coaches, we sign a non-disclosure. We sign a contract that says for the duration of this program or this 6 weeks program, you cannot take any of my clients. This 6 weeks program, during this program, you cannot sell your own product. You cannot sell your own market. You must do what I'm paying you for. Do it. After the program, congratulations. If anybody loves you more than they love me, which of course I know they do, because you're the one, it's like I'm Daddy Gio and you're their branch pastor. Hello, who do you want? Daddy Gio, they'll just Daddy Gio is like, Daddy Gio is coming. Everybody's excited, but their branch pastor is the one that knows that they have not eaten that day. Do you understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, after the program is done, you will not follow Daddy Gio. You will follow your branch pastor, and it's okay. It's okay. That's where security and largeness of heart comes. But if you don't have that largeness of heart, the moment you drop the mic and they follow branch pastor, your heart will now begin to cut to say, "Hey God, where will I start from again?" So that's what I believe.
Wow. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, sir. Surround yourself with people who are strong where you are weak. Of course, have a great sense of security personally. So don't just go jumping around to say, "Oh, I want to collaborate," when you yourself you are insecure. Because of course, when you don't get the shine, it's going to pain you, and you will know that your head is not correct, according to Coach Steve.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, boss. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing time. Whoops. I almost lost track of time, but then I have timekeepers back end. But before we even bring this to a close, someone says, Dr. Steve, please, how can I get access to your library? Whoa, you want to enter? No, you cannot enter Dr. Steve's house. No.
No.
My eyes are on those books. I want to read them. I want to read what you are reading so that I will be transformed like you, sir. Okay, so I'm going to give, Coach Steve the opportunity. He's going to answer this question, but let me ask you, how many of his books do you have? How many?
Like, yeah. If you don't have my book, your head is not what? Your head is not what?
How many of his books have you read? Maybe you should start from there. But let me give him the floor, sir. So, sir, somebody wants to enter your library. You want to enter. They are seeing everything behind, and they say, "I want to read what you're reading. I want to, I want to be like you." How can we have access, sir?
No, I think that the books you read are maps to the journey your life is going to take. I'm going to say that again. The books you read are like maps taking you on a journey to your own destination. So my point is, everyone has their destination. So if you read my map and you're not going to my destination, my map will not
Mm-hmm.
my map will not
Hmm.
help. You have to find first, where am I going, and then what map will get there. So because my business is on thought leadership and impact, on impact and coaching, a lot of my thoughts, a lot of my maps deal with things like psychology, marketing. A lot of my maps deal with helping people get sustained results. Those are the kinds of books I read, the direction that I'm going. Now, for your journey, you need a different map. You know what I mean? For your journey, you may need a different map. So my point really is, I really can't. There's no cut and dry book that I would say. But if there are certain books that I would say that these maps will help you get started. Number one, I hate to sound cliche, but the Bible work does it for me. That's the first book, and I'm not just saying it because I'm Christian. It just happens to be a really, really cool book. The second book that I believe will help you is a book called The Alchemist. Alchemist. It's by Paulo Coelho. The Alchemist, a fantastic book. Irrespective of your journey, that book will help you discover who you are. A really fantastic third book that you should be thinking about is this book, written by a really good-looking guy called Steve Harris. It's called Honey, Why Are We Poor?
Sure.
So if you're trying to get your money and your money's being a little bit funny, this book would really help you. So these are the three books I'd recommend: The Bible, The Alchemist, and Honey, Why Are We Poor? You can't go wrong.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yeah, get those books. Of course, if you're Christian, you should have the Bible, and not just having the Bible, you should read it, not just reading it. Ensure you read to understand it. All right, and then of course in fact, that book, Oniwa Wipo, you should read it. You really should read it. Fantastic book. The Alchemist also fantastic book. And yeah, other books by the Ruthless Executor, one and only Steve Harris. You can also want to get some of his programs. You want to, like enter into his space, get on his coaching programs. Just check on imsteveharris.com. imsteveharris.com. You're going to see some things there for you. You can get from college dropouts to corporate sellout ebook. It's an ebook. You can get more action, less soak execution course. You can get the ruthless execution workbook. There's just a lot from his stable to help you. You also get business out of the box, monetize your knowledge. It's a whole lot. So yes, if you really want to, begin to achieve his kind of results, go get his books, guys, get his courses, get his trainings, get signed up, and trust me, the first coach you should have contacted and the last one you ever need to contact. Yeah, that's it for you. Thank you so much. How do we get the books? So he's only going to talk about how you can
Just go
get
to
it.
my DM. Just go on my Instagram. Check it out.
Yes. So please shoot him a DM. Coach Steve is really receptionable. Like he is very receptive. Yeah.
I am.
So shoot a DM, and of course, when you're shooting a DM, make sure you introduce yourself properly. Don't just go and say hi, hi, hello, hello, hello. No, don't do that. Introduce yourself, and of course, go straight to the point. You're going to get the access link to get the books right there. Thank you so very much. Okay, so one more question. As we bring this to a close, I'm trying to check through if we have any question from the audience or from the comment section. I'm trying to check. None yet so far. I've addressed both questions that were asked. So, last but not the least question. So, sir, Dr. King's story was one, and is still one that is of great inspiration to us, to everyone. You know, the odds were stacked against him, but he insisted that this life I'm going to win is one in family, one for God, and, you know, in everything he actually delved into, we see him winning. What would you say to a young Nigerian who has a lot of excuses lined up for them? You know, people who still battle with excuses that, oh, they can't make it in life, they can't, you know, amount to anything. People who have not yet seen that need. They have not come out of the box. What word do you have for them? Especially those that are struggling with excuses of why they cannot be where they want to be.
Well, you're not hungry enough. You're not broke enough. Nigeria hasn't stressed you enough. That's why you still have excuses.
Hmm.
I have all the excuses in the world. I mean, I dropped out of school twice. I don't have a college degree. You know what I mean? I got kicked out of school twice. You know, so I'm in a class all by myself. So people have first class, second class, third. I don't have any class. I'm in a class by myself.
Hmm.
But I didn't allow, you know, what I didn't have to limit me. Like I always say, you know, it's not what you don't have that limits you. It's what you have, but you don't know how to use, right? It's not what you don't have that limits you. It's what you have, but you don't know how to use. So, what motivates me is I say to myself that if in some sort of multiverse, in some sort of alternate universe, I could meet another, I could meet another version of Steve Harris, the guy who went to school and graduated and ate his cornflakes. If I could meet that guy, I want that guy to look at me and wish he was me. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? I want that guy to look at me and wish he had my life. No matter how successful he is, I want him to feel like something is missing because he doesn't have my life. You know what I mean? So I am determined to push myself forward, irrespective of where I've come from, because I don't know who I would have been if I graduated. I don't know who I would have been if I got my first degree. I don't know who I would have been. So because I don't know, I'm not going to give myself an excuse to say, my life is bad now. They kicked me out of school. My lecturers victimized me, stories that touch, stories that touch. No, I don't care. It's because I didn't finish that I'm going to
Hmm.
show you that your head is not what? That your head is not correct. That's why. So my life is to prove to
Hmm.
everybody that my failures can inspire you to succeed. So if somebody's listening and saying, "Oh, I have all the excuses, this, that, and you're not hungry enough. You're not broke enough. As long as you are alive, there is still hope. And if you like, you can moan and complain from now till tomorrow. Time is passing by. One thing is for sure, the sun will go up, the sun will come down. Whether your excuses are still valid is entirely up to you. You know what I mean? So please do what Ubong King talks about. Get into trouble. Be uncomfortable with the status quo. Demand more from yourself. Get mentorship. Get knowledge. Stop being focused on crap that doesn't matter. Start focusing. They call it aspire to perspire. Aspire so that you can perspire. Do you get what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Do it. Learn. When your friends are clubbing or they're talking about stuff that don't make sense, open a book, read it. Don't focus on blogs and don't focus on things that don't matter. Focus on something that will improve your brain cells. The same amount of data that you would use to be on Instagram watching funny videos is the same amount of data that you're using to watch this program put up by the Ubong Foundation. Don't stop. Continue. Every day you would keep learning and then do something with what you learn. And slowly but surely, right, you will get there. So please, have my word, though.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, so I have, it's not a question per se, but somebody's saying that how much is the book Honey, Why Are We Poor? How much is the book, sir? And can the book be shipped to me in Abraham? I say, you're in Lagos now. Of course, it can be dispatched to you. It can be shipped to you anyhow. You can get it. Sir, please, would you like to give us the amount of the book? And if there's probably
copy, yes, it's 6,500 naira. Exclusive of delivery, and yes, we can ship it to Abraham Adesanya. So just send a DM or go to my Instagram page. There's a number on my Instagram page. Just click on contact. I think it's my contact box. Click on it, dial the number. They would ship the book to you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So yeah, you have it right there. Check on Instagram. I am Steve Aris. That's his handle on Instagram. I am Steve Aris. And then you're going to get a number to call. So call the number and you are going to get the book right at your doorstep. Thank you so much, Coach Steve. It's been a great time, having you with us today. It's been 1 hour. Thank you so very much for sparing our time to do this out of your really, really busy schedules. Thank you so much. We do appreciate your presence and thank you for your words. No more last word because you've said it already. You said it. You said it. Get into trouble. Do what Dr. Ubong King has always told us to do. Thank you so much, sir. I had a great time doing this. Thank you for the honor. Thank you. We do appreciate your presence. Thank you, sir. All right. So everyone who's watched us, thank you so much, guys. You all are the best. I saw the comment section. I saw it. I saw the fire. I saw the energy in the comment section. Guys, you people know they disappoint. Thank you. We do appreciate you. We value you. We love you. And of course, I'd like to also mention that this event, this program, was proudly brought to you by the Ubong King Foundation in celebration of our leader's posthumous 49th birthday. And that's not all, guys. By 7 p.m. Hey, drums roll. I don't have drum here. By 7 p.m., guys, we're going to be bringing another great, fantastic, phenomenal person by 7 p.m. You see how this session was? It was hot. Like Coach Steve was just, bringing down all of the roofs one after the other, burning everything with fire and brimstone. This evening is going to be hotter because Jimmy Tewa is going to be joining us. You don't want to miss that session. Set your alarm, charge your phones, get data, get ready because we are going to be sealing it this evening with Jimmy Tewe. Till we come your way again this evening, to have a great time. My name is Mary Ogudimo. It's been a great time having you or being here with you. Bye, everyone. Bye.